the human respiratory system. So this is human respiratory system. Okay, human respiratory system, that which consists of the lungs, and it also consists of the various other parts where the exchange of gases takes place, such as air sac or the alveoli. So now we have to first draw this diagram. Use the pencils only to draw the diagram. Okay. Now coming to this diagram, first of all we have the nasal chamber, that is a nasal passage. Through the nostrils there is a nasal passage like this, right? Okay. Then after this, there is also a common passage for the mouth. So this is the common passage that is for the mouth. So this is the mouth entry, and this is for the other pipe. Okay. So nostrils, that is the nasal passage. This is nostril. I will do the labeling at the last. Now you can just understand and draw it side by side. So this is the entry is the nostrils. Then there is a nasal passage having a common passage for the nose and the mouth. Then there is an opening for the mouth, because we do respire with the help of the mouth as well. Okay. After this, there is a pipeline, because mouth is also having the same passage, common passage. So there is a differentiation between a food pipe that we have studied and a windpipe. Okay. The windpipe that has at its opening, it has the voice box. So this is the voice box, right? Like this, you can draw the voice box that is present at the opening of the windpipe. This is voice box. Below it, there is this complete windpipe, that is the trachea. Biologically, it is called as trachea. This is all surrounded by the cartilaginous rings. What are those rings? That is the ring-like structures, soft, bony ring-like structures. So these are the cartilaginous rings that which surrounds it, like this. Okay. The cartilaginous rings are also present at its start of the bifurcation. This then bifurcates. Why I am drawing this dotted? Because there are rings which are visible, and these are the dotted portions that which are behind them. Okay. So this is the trachea. This hole is trachea, right? And then starts the two branches of it, that are the bronchi. Okay. So these two branches, these are also having at the start, they have nearly up to the half of it, they have these cartilaginous rings like this. Less than half, approximately less than half, they do cover with the cartilaginous rings. Okay. Now, before drawing the lungs, we have to first draw the diaphragm. We have to first place the diaphragm, then we will be giving the shape to the lungs. Okay. So first draw the diaphragm, then the lungs. Where to draw the diaphragm? From this windpipe, just bring a dot which is down the way. This is, you bring a dot down the way, and approximately of this much length you have to leave a space here also. Okay, as much length you have made here, same length you have to leave this here, and somewhere here we'll be drawing this dot. So bring your pencil like this and mark a point over here. Okay, this is the point where the diaphragm will be having its peak. Okay, so this is, I said, approximate this much length is required, so I've put a dot quite behind. So like this much, this is the diaphragm position. And now before drawing the diaphragm, you have to make it completely arcwise. You have to just place your hand in between. Okay, just a second. You have to place your hand like this, and you have to just draw the arc. Okay. Now after this, when you are drawn with this, when you are done with the diagram of this diaphragm, we will thicken this afterwards. Firstly, focusing on the shape of the lungs now. This is the bronchi that which are arising. Now they are visible, that is why I have made them with the solid line. After the cartilaginous rings, they are visible now. Okay. So from these bronchi, now you are to start with the drawing of the lungs. From here, draw triangular upside arc like this, triangular. Then just placing your hand on this side, you have to just curve it towards the lungs. Okay, that will be an easy way. So like this, you have to just curve it towards the lungs, right? Do not join it with the lungs. Now from on this right side of the lungs, that is the right lung, that which is towards your right, this one is having the notch like this. That is for the placement of the heart. This has a big bend over here. So that is for the placement of heart here. And this is like not the completely straight line, but a bit wavy. You will be drawing this. Then the lower portion, which is almost, that is exactly uh, parallel, you can say, to the dome shape that of the diaphragm, right? Similarly, on the left side, again, you have to provide the same uh, high arc of the triangular arc for the lungs. So starting from this end, then providing a triangular arc like this. Okay, so this is a triangular arc. Then place your hand at one end and then just curve it like this. Okay, you have to just curve it by placing your hand at one end, curve it towards the lungs like this. Okay, and then it should be like approximately to the lungs. Fine. So this is how to curve the line for your shape of the lungs. Now the inner wall, this is wavy. This does not show any arc like this. Okay, notch, cardiac notch. So this is bit wavy like this. Okay, and again the lower end, which is almost parallel to the above lungs. Sorry, to the diaphragm. So this is the shape of the lungs. Fine, clear. After this, now you can broaden up this muscular band. This is the muscular band, that is a diaphragm. So you can just broaden it up. Broadening means you have to just show it like this is a thick muscular band which separates the chest cavity from the abdominal cavity. And also this helps in inhalation and exhalation. Okay, this provides a major role in inhalation and exhalation. You may be asked the question of what are the roles of diaphragm. So diaphragm, firstly, it separates chest cavity from the abdominal cavity. And secondly, this diaphragm helps in inhalation and exhalation. That is the major role of inhalation and exhalation that can be done by this diaphragm. Okay, now coming to the inside of the lungs. As the bronchi reaches to the inside of the lungs, they start showing their branches. They branch up profusely. Profusely means there is a big branching pattern which is then associated. Okay, so these branches and then their branches and so there are number of branches that which can be formed afterwards. All these smaller units of the bronchi, as it enters into the lungs, it branches up, right? So these smaller bronchioles, that are the branches of the bronchi, are called as bronchioles, right? Each bronchiole that ends up near the wall of the lungs. Okay, these bronchioles, they will be having numerous of the air sac that are the alveoli. Okay, so how to draw these? These are only the cloudy structures you can make. They have the much larger this surface area for the exchange of gases. So these are what? These are alveoli. Okay, these are alveoli or the air sac. You can fill up the hole, you can fill up both, but need not to waste your time, because in the board exams you don't have that much time to fill it all. So you can just fill it by just showing that these are profusely branched and at the ends they are having the this alveoli. Okay, clear? So this is the alveoli. Now around the lungs there is also the wall of the lungs. You can make the wall of the lungs around it or inside it as you wish. Like this, you can make the pleural membrane, that which is present just around it, like this. Okay, so this is the membrane that which surrounds the lungs, like this. Okay, so both sides you can make these pleural membrane. That is a membrane of the lungs. Just parallel to its own membrane, what you have already drawn, you can make this, and this is a pleural membrane. Okay, so now drawing the this drawing part is over. Now you can label the parts of it. This is the nostrils, the first, that is nostrils, the external pathway for the gases. Then there is a nasal passage. This hole is the nasal passage. This is nasal passage. Beneath the nostrils, there is also the mouth, by which if there are any blockages in the nostrils, we can respire through mouth. But it is always recommended to respire through the nostrils. We will be discussing these questions later. First, complete the diagram. Then, this is the common pathway that is of the mouth and the nose. This common pathway that is called as pharynx. This is pharynx, right? This is the voice box or the larynx, Larynx, or it is also called as voice box, or it is also called as Adam's apple. Okay, this is also called as Adam's apple. Okay, then on the start of the windpipe, when there is this larynx is present on the start of the windpipe, this is also covered by a flap-like structure which prevents the incoming of the food into the windpipe. That flap-like structure is called as epiglottis. You can make it like this somewhat over the larynx. Okay, this is just a knob-like structure like this I have made over the larynx. Okay, this is a flap-like structure which is termed as epiglottis. 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 This covers the opening of the windpipe, and the opening of the windpipe is called as glottis. Okay, over that there is a flap which is called as epiglottis, right? Then this hole afterwards, this complete up till here. This hole is called as the windpipe or the trachea. When you are asked to label the parts of the respiratory system, it is always better to use the biological terms than using the common names. Okay, so trachea or called as windpipe. Further, the two first branches of this trachea, these are the two first branches. So these two branches, they are called as bronchi. Bronchi, bronchi. And the further smaller branches of these, they are called as bronchioles. Bronchioles. Cloudy structures, they are called as alveoli, or commonly they can be called as air sac. Right? Lastly, not last yet, this is the curve which we have talked about, and this curve is called as a cardiac notch. This is cardiac notch. The membrane of the lungs, that is called as the pleural membrane. And last is the this muscular band over which this all is functioning is dependent, that is called as diaphragm. So this is diaphragm, right? So this is the diagram of a human respiratory system. Complete this quickly, and then we will start with a few of the reasoning questions first, and then the process of inhalation and exhalation, that which will be controlled by the diaphragm. Yes, any questions to anyone? Kindly raise your hands if you have any doubt, any question, understanding the diagram. It's all done. Okay. So now coming to the further questions, like first reasoning question is, why is it always recommended to respire through the nose? Why is it always recommended to respire through the nose? Yes, 1 second, बच्चे, 1 second. That is why we are always recommended to respire through the nose rather than the mouth. Yes, we are recommended na, whenever there are blockages, then also the doctors they say that do respire from the nostril only, don't respire from the mouth. Use the mouth for respiration for the least times. है ना? So why it is recommended to respire through the nostrils? That is because of the presence of the hairs and mucus, right? This is because of the presence of the hairs, mucus, and and the blood vessels, right? So this is because of the these three things. Because of the hairs, first of all, the dust particles, they will be all filtered out, they will be trapped therein, right? So that is, they are having this nasal passage or the nostrils, they are having the hairs, due to which the dust particles will be filtered or they can be trapped, right? So that the good air that passes in without having the dust particles in it, that can be passed in into the respiratory system. Okay. Secondly, it is also having the lining of the blood vessels and the mucus, that which keeps the air warm. Okay. So the blood vessel lining that actually helps to warm up the air, and this mucus that helps to moisten the air. So the three things, they are actually helping first to trap up the these dust particles, that is with the help of the hairs. Mucus moistens the air, and the last is the blood vessels, that which warms up the air. So you are to just warm up the air and take it with the moistening. That is, moistening means it should have the water in it, and then only we can be respiring it. It should be moistened. Okay, it should not be a dry air, right? So because of all three factors, there is always a recommendation to respire through the nose rather than to the mouth. Okay. So this is the first question. Second question related to the human respiratory system. Why the trachea? Write this question in your fake copies. This is why the trachea is covered by the cartilaginous rings. Why trachea is covered by the cartilaginous rings, right? Why the trachea is covered by the cartilaginous rings. So this trachea is covered by the cartilaginous rings. Cartilaginous rings are these ones, the ring-like structures. These ring-like structures, they are actually made up of cartilage. In your 9th standard, you have studied that of tissues, skeletal tissue, that is bone and cartilage. So cartilages, we have studied that these are a bit softer than the bones. And so being softer than the bones, these are the structures, they will be helping in not sticking up of this trachea. Suppose when you draw out all the cold drink from the straw, है you are using the straw to suck in that cold drink, and when it is all empty, then the walls of that straw, they just they are pressed and they are combining like this, right? They combine like this, they get pressed like this, है that is because there is no air at that time also. So when our system that exhales out, that exhales out or expires out all the air, at that time this trachea, that is a windpipe, can also be like this, है ना, वो भी ऐसे चिपक सकती है, that can stick, but because this is an biological organ, so it will be not possible to open it out at its own, right? So that is to prevent the sticking of its walls, to prevent the sticking of the tracheal walls. This nature has provided the cartilaginous rings around the trachea. Okay, so you can write the reason for this: to prevent collapsing of the trachea, to prevent the collapsing of the trachea during exhalation, to prevent collapsing of trachea during exhalation. This is provided by the cartilaginous rings, right? Now there is a third concept. What is epiglottis and what is its role? The third question associated again with the human respiratory system. What is epiglottis and what is its role? Epiglottis is a flap-like structure. This is a flap-like structure which is present at the opening of windpipe. So this is present at the opening of windpipe. Just in the rough sketch, I can show you, like if this is like say the main combined part, that is of the nostrils and the mouth, that is the pharynx region. So after this pharynx, there is the start of the two pipes like this. That is, one is the windpipe, another is the food pipe. Okay, so the two pipes, they are made up after the pharynx. Now when you are taking your air also through mouth, you are taking your food also through mouth, or you are taking it through the nostrils, what way it will be leading? That is, the food has to go to this food pipe only. This is, let's say, food pipe, and this is the windpipe. The food has to go to the food pipe only, not to the windpipe. What is it? So there is a flap like structure like this. Okay, so there is a flap like structure which is called as an epiglottis. What happens actually here is, when the food comes, it actually presses this is closed, then ये इस तरह से बंद हो जाता है पूरा flap. ठीक है, so that the food is not actually given to the windpipe and it passes on to towards this food pipe. Okay, so but when we are continuously talking, we are just speaking and speaking while we are eating, then this confusion will not be possibly solved. Why? Because for speaking you need air passage through this windpipe, so the epiglottis is not closing at all. है ना, जब आप बोल रहे हो एयर पैसेज चाहिए विंड पाइप से, तो उस टाइम पे वो एपिग्लॉटिस बंद नहीं हो पाएगा, और साथ ही साथ आप खाना भी खा रहे हो, तो यहाँ एपिग्लॉटिस एक तो बंद नहीं हो पा रहा, दूसरा आप फूड भी अंदर लेके जा रहे हो, सो फूड मे गो इनटू द विंड पाइप एंड दैट लीड्स टू द severe conditions as well. Sometimes it leads to the severe conditions. Okay, so that is always recommended, that why we should not speak while chewing the food or while eating the food. And that is also a recommendation. So this is also the concept of the epiglottis. You can write what is epiglottis and what is its role. Epiglottis is a flap-like structure which is present at the opening of the windpipe, and this prevents the uh, passage of the food towards the windpipe. This prevents the passage of food towards the windpipe. Right? How it does? So this is all I have explained here. Okay, right? Now the next is, where does the exchange of gases takes place? For this, the exchange of gases takes place within the alveoli. Alveoli, or also called as the air sac. So where does the exchange of gases takes place? This takes place at the alveoli. How it takes place? When we inhale in oxygen, right? That is all given to these parts, and these are the alveoli that which are I told you that after reaching to the last lung walls, let's say this is the lung wall. So after reaching to the lung wall, there is made up of these alveoli. They are in contact with this, right? And they are richly supplied with the blood vessels as well. ठीक है, सो ये क्योंकि लास्ट वॉल्स के साथ चिपकी पड़ी है, यहाँ पे हमने बीच में हैंगिंग नहीं शो की है. These are attached to the walls, either to the back side wall or to the front side wall. So these are at the walls. ठीक है, they end up always near the walls, alveoli, and these have the blood vessels contact with them. They are richly supplied with the blood vessels. Secondly, they are also having the maximized surface area. Because of these two features specially, these are the sites of exchange of gases. They have much a large surface area. That is, if you open out one alveoli, that covers nearly 10 meter squares area. Okay, one alveoli, but it is highly entangled and it is made into a mass of a ball-like structure, and it is fitted there within the lungs. Okay, so this is one alveoli that has a maximized surface area. That is because of which it is the site of exchange of gases. Also, the site of exchange of gases because it is richly supplied by the blood vessels. It is richly supplied by the blood. Right? Clear? Now there is one last question which is again related to this human respiratory system. That is, what is residual volume and what is its residual volume and what is its significance? What is this residual volume And what is the significance of this? Residual volume. Now we have just learned that this is the site of exchange of gases. When you inhale in oxygen, that goes from here to the body, and carbon dioxide that is coming from the blood vessels, that is given again to the alveoli, and it goes back out, right? How that takes place, that is a whole process. We will be studying this after this topic. That is the process of inhalation and exhalation. Now here comes when you have to just give out all the gas out of the lungs, that is a carbon dioxide. Where it is given out, whether all the air that empties out from the lungs, or there remains a small amount of the air within. Yes, there remains a small amount within. That is what is called as residual volume. So what is residual volume? It is the amount of the air which is left within the lungs after exhalation. When exhalation is done, all the gas is thrown out, but there is a small amount of the air which is left within. That is called as a residual volume. Now, what is the significance of this residual volume? Why it is left there? Why not it is to empty out all the air out? This is first because